Today, as we speak, we are filing one count of second-degree manslaughter against Matt Alder, and also formally declining any charges against Mr. Arturo Gamboa.
Months after a deadly shooting at a protest in downtown Salt Lake City, investigators have now announced who they plan to hold accountable. Afa Alu, an innocent bystander shown there, was shot and killed June 14th during the No Kings protest, where about 10,000 people had gathered. Investigators say shots were fired when two so-called peacekeepers saw Arturo Gamboa with a rifle and thought he was about to fire into the crowd. Gamboa was initially arrested but released days later. And tonight, police have now filed manslaughter charges, announcing those charges against one of the peacekeepers, Matt Alder. We have team coverage as Alu's widow is now responding to the news some 5 months later. But first, let's go to Daniela Rivera, who has been digging a lot into what this means for Gamboa and the questions surrounding how this case was handled. Daniela.
Well, that's right. Gamboa is now cleared of any criminal charges in this matter, with the DA confirming there's no evidence he violated the law. Still, he's the only person in this case who has spent time behind bars.
There is insufficient evidence that he committed a clear violation of criminal law.
Salt Lake County DA Sim Gill's announcement today is the news Arturo Gamboa's mother, Elizabeth, told me in October she was hoping for. You want to see Arturo cleared?
Absolutely. That would be wonderful.
Gamboa carried a rifle with him to the No Kings March in June, but detectives believe it was unloaded when armed peacekeeper Matt Alder opened fire. One of the bullets hit Gamboa in the back, a through-and-through gunshot wound he was lucky to survive. Yet, despite never pulling a trigger, he was the one arrested at the scene and held in jail for 6 days. Alder is only charged in the death of bystander Afa Alu. Arturo Gamboa was also shot. Why is he not being treated as a victim in this case?
That's a great question. We also have a very robust self-defense justification law.
Gill points to Utah's controversial self-defense law, modeled after a Florida statute and adopted by Utah's legislature in 2021. He says Alder could have used the statute to argue the shots at Gamboa were justified because Alder perceived Gamboa to be a threat.
There's this gray area, this loophole, if you will, where the right accidental circumstances can create this very nuanced, complex problem.
In stark contrast to Gamboa's immediate arrest in June, Alder remains free tonight, receiving a summons to appear in court at a later date. We asked about that too.
We issue things based on flight risk. We issue things based on whether somebody's cooperating or not.
Gill told us Alder has cooperated with them and they expect him to show up to court to face the charge against him. I've not been able to speak with Gamboa directly in all of this, but we hope to in the future to hear his story and his reaction to today's news. Daniel.
All right, Daniela, thank you. Meanwhile, the family of Afa Alu and their attorneys say their fight for justice and reform is far from over. While they're grateful for the manslaughter charge that was filed today by prosecutors, news specialist Mike Anderson explains why more people in the end could be held responsible. Mike.
Yeah, that's right, Daniel. You know, and they're not looking at Arturo Gamboa. They say from their perspective, he did nothing wrong. But there still are a lot of questions around the organizers and even Utah's open carry law.
Out of a senseless loss.
These past 5 months have been long, painful, and deeply frustrating as we waited for answers.
It is important to find purpose and to make change.
No one else should have to go through what me and my children have experienced.
It's why attorneys are still searching for answers, why they say protest organizers and so-called peacekeepers obfuscated the truth, filing with the city under fake names. Then there's Utah's open carry law.
I think this is a very tragic and sad situation that should have never happened.
Verona Mauna was friends with Afa Alu, and she's a state representative.
The loss of his life in this situation, as tragic as it is, I think it brings us back to a place where we can start thinking about How do we make this so that it doesn't happen to other families and other communities?
She says amendments can be made to Utah's open carry law to better protect people at large gatherings.
States far more conservative than our own have felt that those kinds of restrictions are appropriate.
While she says Matt Alder is at fault for firing his weapon, she also believes this would have never happened if Gamboa hadn't shown up with an AR-style rifle.
If you're going to bring out a long gun into a public space like that, there are going to be reactions.
She says now state lawmakers need to play a role.
I feel grateful and I feel honored that I am in these positions where I can at least start the conversation and at least open bill files if I need to.
And Maunga says she has opened a bill file, even working with prominent gun lobbyist Clark Aposhian to see what kind of compromises can be made. Back to you.
All right, we'll see as the session begins what happens there, Mike. Thank you. And we'll continue to follow the developments in this developing story. Be sure to get caught up on the very latest on the KSL Plus app and on our website.